Hi everyone, welcome to episode 39 of YarnAdelaide podcast coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia, Australia. How is everyone? Everybody ready for Fibre Feast? This episode is going to be pretty much very lightly on what I've been doing, as in I'm only going to show you a couple of finished objects, and then I'm going to get into a bit of a Fibre Feast preview and give you some info about store holders and who they are. So yeah, my name's Nicole, also known as Colagirl on the internet, mostly on Instagram and Ravelry, and all those social media outlets. I am the hand dyer of Colagirl Collective, where you can find me on Etsy or at Fibre Feast on Saturday. Yes, I'm also one of the coordinators of the Fibre Feast festival / market to start with, I guess, that is going to be held in Adelaide on this Saturday the 24th of March from 10 till 4. It's going to be at the Blackwood Memorial Hall in Blackwood on Coromandel Parade. So I hope to see everybody there. I'll get into giving you guys a rundown list of who's going to be there, and I'll give you guys a list of what yarns you can find of mine there as well. So I've got a couple of finished objects to show you guys, and then I'll get into the Fibre Feast stuff. So first of all, I have a finished test knit of Dominic Trade of her Pop Puri shawl. I was hoping it was going to be released for this weekend and I'd have some kits available to purchase, but it hasn't been. So this is this is the test knit that I did. I did the large lace size. It is also done, I think it has 3 sizes in 4-ply and 2-ply. So I did the 2-ply version, and I used two of my Matilda lace colours, which is my 2-ply merino silk, 75% Australian merino, 25% silk, in the Ordinga drop-off colour, and the Fairy Garden colour. It's a massively nice long shawl, and I love the fit. It's beautiful, the finished effort of it. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with lace. I think I love the finished product, and I love the romantic ideal of starting something in lace, but here to here it becomes a bit of a grind. But you keep thinking that it's going to be beautiful once it's finished, it's going to be awesome once it's finished, and you do appreciate it once it's done. It's that middle and 3/4 that you go, I wish it was done, and it just doesn't grow fast enough. But hey, let's not dwell on the negative. It is gorgeous, the finished product. So it's pretty simple. Just has I think it was roughly about a 30-row lace section, and then it has alternate garter stitch rows with a yarn over eyelet row. So it keeps you interested, and it can be one of those projects that you can take out on the go as well when you're up to the garter stitch bumps. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing the lace section out when you're meeting with other people, because otherwise you get too confused and have to go home and unpick it all. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way that finished. It is nice and long, and I'm sure it is going to get a bit of a workout once, let's just go like that, once the weather cools down, which it's trying to. except unfortunately on Saturday it's going to be warm, which would be nice. And it's in Blackwood, so it's in the hills as well. So number 2 finished object is another test knit. That is finished, but I've got to add tassels to it. I did a test knit for Jessica Gore, who is going to be at Fibre Feast on Saturday with all her patterns for sale, and she'll have samples to show. And this is my second test knit that I've done for Jess. This is the Theberton shawl, and this shawl is also done in a 4-ply and 8-ply, and I chose to do the 8-ply version, and I did it in my Outback Sustainable Australian Merino 8-ply. In the aqua blue is called By the Sea. It's quite tonal because I dyed it one colour and then over dyed it another colour, so it has a nice pale blue and then it's got overtones of a slightly darker, more royal blue. So yeah, and then the darker colour is Walter, which again is an over dyed colour, which I dyed charcoal and then navy, so it throws a lot of blue as well. Be a nice warm shawl come winter time. And I don't have much blue in my stash. I've got to add tassels to the 3 tips, but that was quite easy to do as well, and that was nice and easy to do out on the go, because the pattern repeats are quite easy to memorise, and then it's got the moss stitch colour change. So yeah, I think Jess was releasing that this week, so it should be available on Saturday. I hope it is. Don't quote me on that, people. So yeah, so I've got to do the tassels before Saturday so I can show it off at Fibre Feast. I have a mouthful of my coffee. Okay, so pretty much that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've got a few other whips that I thought I'd save that for next time and give a bit more in-depth rundown, because I've got a bit to show you guys with what's going on with Colagirl Collective and what will be available on Saturday. So I thought I'd more focus on that, and this is more a preview to that and a heads up on who's going to be there. So we have 25-ish stalls, yarn dyers, fibre people, accessories, all yarn and knitting, crochet, fibre, what's the word for it? Now that I'm talking, I can't think. My mind doesn't keep up with my mouth. Yarn enthusiasts, fibre related, Fibre Feast, so yeah. Okay, so myself, Colagirl Collective, Pearl and Friends, and YarnAdelaide are the 3 coordinators, so our stores will be there. Charmaine from YarnAdelaide sells yarn accessories, needles. I think she's got 5 different types of needles. She sells lots of accessories, a few different base yarns. Excuse me. Yeah, she's like a yarn shop online. And similar with Pearl and Friends. Pearl and Friends sells a few different yarns like Outlaw yarn. I think she sells some Joe Sharps and fibre spates. And she sells stitch markers, and I think she sells a few needles and accessories as well. And myself, I sell hand dyed yarns, project bags, stitch markers, and a bit of fibre. Also, we'll have Rusty Yarns, Lovebird Lane, Kathy's Fibres, Finch Yarns, Adelaide Hills Yarn Company, Barb Sew and Knits, 7th Girl, Squiggle Yarn Company, Ash and Oak, Ren and Ollie, the Sweater Collective, Handcrafted Gifts by Luda, Dovedale, Shan's Yarn, Our Beautiful Pieces, Stranded in Oz, Lucenvale Spinning Fibres, Ricky Clausen, Vivi will be there, and Ravino Cats, and the Hand Knitters Guild will be there with an information stand and selling some some garments and what have you, hand knit garments and that sort of thing, and exclusively Mel. And there will also be an information booth there of local knitting groups. There'll be a coffee van there, someone selling cupcakes, and there'll be a sausage sizzle, which will be raising money, I think, for the Calisthenics Club in Blackwood. So yeah, so there's something to eat and drink, and they'll also bring your knitting along, or bring your crocheting, or even your spinning, because there will be areas where you can sit and craft for the afternoon as well. So yeah, can't wait to see everybody. It's a gold coin entry, which will give you a raffle ticket to raffles that will be drawn hourly. So there'll be, so we've got 10 till 4, so 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. There'll be at least 5 raffles throughout the day. So yeah. What else do I have to say? So yeah, I think that's about it. 21 Coromandel Parade at the Blackwood Memorial Hall on Saturday the 24th of March from 10 till 4. Hopefully it's a great success, and we will do it yearly or maybe even 6 monthly. This is the pathfinder for future events from us to see whether yeah, it's worth it. I'm hoping, and from the feedback that we're getting on social media and what have you, yeah, we're getting excited, and we're quite hopeful, and everything sounds promising. People are getting excited, which is awesome. So thank you guys. Yeah, it's something that we've all wanted in Adelaide. So yeah, hopefully we'll get the support from you guys behind us. So that will be about it, and I'll give you a bit of a preview with what you can see from me. Since it's my podcast, I can, what is it, a shameless plug, as the Fat Squirrel Amy Beth says, shameless promotion. So what is coming up? I'll show you a couple of new things. I will have some cute little mini skein packs for sale on Saturday. They all vary. They're all packed up, ready to go. But they will be 5 20-gram mini skeins in varying colours. I don't think there's any two the same. So that's one. I've got another. I've got greens. Sorry about the glare, guys. There you go, that's tilt it just there, and you can see it. That one. So you've got yellows and oranges and reds, a bit of brown and some blues, a bit of green, and a few. They're all in the Drover fingering, which is a 75/25 Australian Merino nylon. So yeah, something to perhaps add to your cozy memory blanket, or something to just have there to start doing contrast skills on toes and cuffs. Or you want to do a mini skein project. Sorry about the crinkling. One more. That was very popular over Christmas with the advent calendars. which I think I downloaded one of them that I was quite inspired to do it, but I haven't done it yet. Had many other things. Okay, so that's the mini skein packs. I think there's 10 available, so first in, first served. I do, and I've been dyeing up a storm with my self-striping sock yarn, and I kind of lost momentum with it because I had a problem with one of the colours. One of the, I think the last self-striping yarn that I did, it made me, it's been put in the naughty corner, shall we say. So, but I do have some new colours. So, of course, everybody knows that I'm a Crows fan. I had to do a We Flies one. I had every intention of doing a Port Power colour, but you know, being a one-eyed crow supporter, it just didn't happen. I wanted to, but then my warping, I've still got a warp on there, just never got there, just didn't happen. So I've got 2 Crows colours. I think my mother-in-law will be getting some socks for Mother's Day. So I'll have 2 of We Flies one. I've got a Zoe, and a Lucas, I've got 2 Claude. I really like Claude. Claude was a tabby cat that I had growing up, and he was my mate, and he died when I was about 16. I remember being at school. I got 2 of Claude, and I was mopey all day and in tears. And they've got Trixie. The nice hot pink reminded me of Trixie from Call the Midwife, where she has nice ruby red or nice fuchsia pink lips. I've got 2 of Trixie as well, and then I have Amelia, which I really like this. I'm a bit of a sucker for coral pink, hence, and I'm really happy with the way that they turned out. Have a marten, and then there's some more over this one. Sort of had them all bagged up, ready to go. And being that we had St. Patrick's Day during the week, I have dyed up some green, and his name is Killian. Now I'm sure if you say that with an Irish accent it would sound a lot better, but I googled old Irish names and that stuck, and it even had it broken down to how it's pronounced, and I think I've got it right. I have a Percy, 2 yellows, a grey and a black, 4 striper, and Aquilo. Aquilo sounded quite nautical. That's a 4 striper as well. Got 2 of those. Have some more Amity, which is your 2 purples, your black and your grey. And a Lance. This reminded me of Sydney Swans. So that's why it's called Lance. And then I have Just Want to Have Fun. I've used these colours before in a variegated colourway. So this is Just Want to Have Fun in the self-striping. There is a Just Want to Have Fun variegated, but I don't have any of that in stock at the moment. So yeah, this was the colour that broke me. I dyed up one lot, and I did it slightly differently than what I usually do. Usually I have 4 pots on the go, and then I just have all the sectioned off in the 4 pots. But because I had been dyeing previously and those pots were cooling down, I only had one at a time before I started. So I thought I could start dyeing one colour in one pot, and then as the other pots become available, I'll dye the other ones. What I failed to do, because I have two burner hot plates that I have side by side, and I was using one pot on one of the 2 burners, and I hadn't turned off, which I thought I had, the other hot plate. So the yarn that wasn't being used was sitting on the hot plate that I thought I had turned off. So I essentially burnt yarn. So that's why, yeah, I lost my mojo dyeing up self-striping yarn. But they're all the colours. Some of them I have 2 of, some of them I only have singles. But there's about 20 different skeins of self-striping yarn there. So, just had swapped some things around and got some other things out to show you. So, Colagirl Collective will have a new yarn base launched on Saturday, and it is called Myrtle. It is a 70% kid mohair, 30% silk. Kid mohair is sourced from South Africa, which I inquired with my supplier. Yeah, it's nothing like your 70s style mohair. It is nice and soft, and it has a halo, as I'm sure you can see. It's a bit fluffy, but it's beautiful and soft, and even softer skin. So I think they come in 50-gram skeins. I think this will be beautiful to add some texture. So you need 2 yarns at a time to a hat, or I've always wanted to do the penguino, and that has, you can add some mohair to your penguino as well. So yes, we'll have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different colourways there. 8 I'll have 2 skeins of each. 1 I've only got 1 colour, and when I show you it's like, it's an acquired taste, and if it sells, it sells. I might end up having to put it in my own penguino one day, because that's one thing that I want to do. The whole, the mishmash oversized coat that you can accessorise with anything and use up stash, and just add a few nice luxury yarns to it as well. That, and I thought it was called Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry, where she's used 4-ply yarn and mohair, like a lace weight yarn as well, in the same project. And those 2 projects is what inspired me to get some mohair in. And I have called it Myrtle because that was my grandmother's name. And when I was over in Sydney at Christmas time, I was talking with my uncle, and we went to Skein Sisters together. He's my ride to Skein Sisters. And I've explained before that he crochets some nice vintage looking cushion covers, and they look gorgeous. And he said how much Nan loved mohair. And I had been toying with the idea to get mohair, and I thought, I'm definitely getting it now, and I shall call it Myrtle. So yeah, so the first colour that I showed you is a new colourway called Poppy, which, thank you to what was that, Fruity Knitting Podcast had Julia Salin on there, which was one of the hand dyes of the yarns chosen for Hohi and Vera's new interpretations number 5, and she dyed the yarn for the cardigan that's on the cover, that Happy, she called it Happy. She was talking about red and she was talking about coral, and I've always liked corally pinks, as you can see, and I've explained that a few times previously on previous podcasts, that I don't know why I'm drawn to it, but for some reason I am drawn to corally pinks. And she was talking about overlapping when she's dyeing, so dyeing red and then dyeing coral over the top of it, or to get the colour that she wanted. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I need to play and I might find the colour that I like. So I thought, put caution to the wind, and I just picked out a couple of colours and I came up with this. So yeah, it's a beautiful dusky corally pink, and you'll see it, it's in the mini skein packs. It's on the Myrtle base, and I've got a couple of skeins of it on my Lush 8-ply base. So that's Poppy, and I named it Poppy. I had it in my head that it was going to be called Poppy, and then when I was skeining it up, I was going, I should have called it Peony, but I've already named it, so it's Poppy. So I have 2 skeins of that. I thought Thumper, my grey, will always be good as a staple, and on mohair looks beautiful. So can you imagine a nice basic stocking stitch jumper knitted with, not this on its own, but 2 strands together of a 4-ply or an 8-ply, and just a basic jumper. It has a little bit of texture, a little bit of luxury, that will be your staple boyfriend oversized jumper for winter in the grey. Or it's a new colourway called Battle of Magenta, because it's basically got 2 colours arguing together and coming out red or pink. And I really like that colourway as well. It's quite dark. It has black and pink and dark red, that burgundy colour with it. And I did a couple of skeins of Primrose as well. That's a regular colourway on my Outback base. And Crimson Blush, you've seen that before on my 4-ply Lil Outback. And I did a bit of speckling and variegated with it. And this is Blues for You, which you guys have seen it before. And a couple of new colourways is Star of Greece, as in the blues. The blue is the sea, the yellow sandy colours, the beach and the limestone caves down at Port Wollonga, hence Star of Greece, where the shipwreck is. Yeah, where the Star of Greece cafe is down in Port Wollonga, my parents and my uncle and auntie, I may have told you this story before, Used to own it when it was a kiosk in the 80s. Yeah, in the 80s, because I was still in primary school. Yeah. And my old man used to bake pies and pasties, hand-baked pies and pasties, because he's a cook by trade, or chef by trade. Yeah, and yeah, so I have fond memories of playing down at Port Wollonga Beach, going down to the caves by the jetty ruin, and where the Star of Greece wreck is. I used to swim, or that used to be what did that used to be called? That's the surf area, and then further along is Goals Rock. So yeah, so I grew up down there, so hence Star of Greece. And then I was playing with a bit of green, being St. Paddy's Day this week. I felt there needed to be a bit more green in my repertoire, and I came up with this one. It's called Clover. It's got two lots of green in there and a little bit of speckle of some hot pinks. Didn't come up very obvious on the myrtle, but I also did it on the lace, and it's come up a bit more obvious with the speckling on that. So yeah, so that, and of course the one that I only dyed one skein of is Acid. Trying to be a bit creative. I thought I'll dye one and see how it goes. You either love it or go, oh my god, what the hell have you done? So there's always room in your yarn diet for some fluoro. So yeah, so that's colours of that one. Now I'll stop and I will get the Matilda lace out. Okay, let's have a look at what I've got in store for my Matilda lace. As I said before, it's a 75-25 Australian merino or superwash merino and silk. So I've got crimson blush. Sorry if the colours aren't really, it's too bright out here to really give the right true colouring when you see it on Saturday. So that's got blushes of pink and a bit more browny reds with some charcoal browny background. So yeah, so I have two skeins of that one. Most of them I'll have two skeins of. Some of them, one in particular, I have 4 skeins. So then there's Star of Greece on the lace weight. And of course, Aldinga drop off. I grew up down at Aldinga, so I have fond memories of the beach down there. And that reminds me of the drop off when you go out in the boat about a K offshore. It drops off to really deep and gets that real teal, dark, deep sea blue, green. So I have 2 of those, and then I've got 2 of Sea Dragon, which is a green and charcoal. Most of these are tonal colourways. Obviously that's variegated. And then I have Keepsake, which is aqua blue with a bit of grey through it. Lucky Jade, which is a nice jadey green. And Marvellous, or Movelous, which is Moby Pink. And Sage. Both sea dragons out, that's silly. Obsession, which is your purple and charcoal, tonal purple and charcoal. And then just to confuse you a bit more, this is Shadow, which is the charcoal and navy blue. I thought these two were the same, but they're not. If you put them together, you can see one's purple and one's blue. I only have one of each of those. And then is Battle of Magenta on the lace. And some peaches. Nice peachy colour. A new speckled on the lace weight called Blushing Whimsy. It's got a nice peachy background with speckles of purple and blue and the cerise purpley pink and some yellow. Some green in there. Yep, it's got some green, some tealy green in there as well. And I'll have Fairy Garden again. I'll have 4 skeins of Fairy Garden. That's proved to be quite popular, especially in the lace weight. Hence what was here, and those two is what I used for the potpourri shawl. And Clover, which you can see the speckles of the pink on the lace weight. It's picked it up a bit better than what it did on the mohair. And last but not least, I went a bit nuts with this new colourway. I really like it. It's called Olive Grove, so it's a real bronzy olive green. And that, again, playing in the dye pots, putting colours together and seeing what comes out, which I totally didn't expect this kind of colour, but they look awesome together. I'm really happy. I'm half thinking, because I want to do the Zvarg sweater, because I did this on a couple of other heavier weight bases, that this is almost a front runner for my Zvarg, if I ever get it done, or ever get to doing it. Alright, I'll pack these ones up and get my 4 plies out. Okay, let's try and get this finished. My memory card got full and I couldn't figure out how to delete some stuff so I could fill it up again. But I think I've sorted it out now. Now the kids are home from school and occasional care and what have you, so it may be a little bit more noisier. But let's see if we can get this done. Okay, so what I will have on my Swagnum base, which is the 75-20, no, sorry, it's the 85-15, 85% Australian merino and 15% nylon. So, haven't seen this one for a little while. It's my denim colourway. Nice tonal blue. I have a couple of those. And then we've got blue jeans work boots. It's nice navy, brown and plum. And I've still got some candy floss. It's nice pinks and purples with speckles of yellow and purple through it. And I'll have back in stock Electric Dreams on the Swagnum this time. It's a nice variegated and speckled colourway of your really nice pink purple and purples and speckles of teal. Have a couple of them. I still have a couple of skeins of Fairy Garden on the Swagnum. It's a little bit heavier. And I have only one skein of this one, a Lionheart. I really like this colour. Ooh, that would be the nice accompaniment to the olive grove for the Zvarg. Sound like I'm make it sound like I'm German. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I might have to see how that looks. And I have a good sweater quantity of Vampire Apocalypse. So I have 5 or 6 skeins of this one. I think I've got 6 skeins, but 5 of them are one dye lot, and this is left over from a previous dye lot. So there is a bit of variance. Then I have 1 skein of Blackety Black, which is your tonal black. And let me think. No, I've only got 2 skeins of this one. I've got a sweater quantity, or 4 skeins of it, in the Lush base in the 8-ply of Winds of Winter, which is a reference to Game of Thrones. I have a sweater quantity of Spice Chai. This dye lot's a little bit more yellow than brown. It still has the speckles of brown and red in it. And I have a sweater's quantity of Interlude, which is a gentle speckles of pinks and blues, a little bit of red and brown. I think of a little bit of green as well. It's quite pretty and delicate, that one. And I'll have a couple of Star of Grace. And this is another new colourway, and I called it Kaipo. When I lived down south, I had my horse, and we'd quite often go for rides through Kaipo Forest. I remember when I was learning to ride, when we lived in Wollonga while my parents were building a house in Port Wollonga, so I was a teenager. And I don't know who organised it, but we had a camp out and long trail ride in Kaipo Forest. And some of you might know that there is a racetrack, or horse racetrack, or what used to be in Kaipo Forest. And I remember it must have been in the early days when I was learning to ride, that I think that was one of my first gallops. At the end of the trail ride, we sort of got onto the track that was there, and I think our campsite was nearby. So yeah, so I have fond memories of the olive green tall pine trees, and then it's got the brown of the pine nettle beds through Kaipo Forest as well. And I'll have a couple of Blushing Whimsy, another new colourway, and no, I've only got a couple in Grey Nomad. I will have a sweater or jumper quantity in the 8-ply of Grey Nomad, and there's still a couple of Shepherd's Delight. And there'll be a couple of Kindergarten Treasures, which is the first time on the 4-ply. And there's a couple of Speckled Love as well. And probably this is just a one of a kind. I've got 2 skeins of it because it's just some leftover dye that I put in the pot, so I couldn't let the dye go to waste, so I just chucked a couple of skeins in there. And this one's called Princess of Arendelle. So some of you might understand the reference, as it's Princess Anna. Yeah, No. Oh, I'm totally blanked. Yeah, no, it's Princess. Yes. Princess of Arendelle. I've totally blanked on their names. It'll come to me. That's starting to really frustrate me. Just not words not coming to me. So now I will show you what I will have on my spirit base. My spirit base and my dapper base. Spirit is the 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina, so my sparkle base. So this is another one of a kind colourway. I called it Deviate because it was supposed to be Thumper, so it was supposed to be a basic grey, so it's supposed to be this. But when I was scanning it up, there was a couple of red blotches of undyed on it, so I couldn't sell it like that, so I just put it back in the dye pot and threw more colour at it. So it's a grey with lots of different coloured speckles on it. See, so I have a couple of those, and then there's Thumper, Blackety Black, Twilight, High Tea, Animal, I remembered their names, Anna and Elsa. So there's the Queen of Arendelle, Elsa, and Anna. I did have it right. How could I possibly forget? I have a 3-year-old girl. And Vampire Apocalypse and Unexpected Delight. So that's all that I will have in the spirit base. Some of them I'll have 2 skeins of, some of them they'll only be single skeins. So get in while they're hot and lovely. And then won't have too much on dapper. I will have a couple of skeins of, sorry, the dapper is my my tweed base, which is your 80% superwash merino and 50% Donegal neb. That is whole grain. There'll be a couple of those. I quite like how this whole grain has turned out this time. And I'll have a couple of the Kaipo. Couple of Tears of Pelé, and then there'll be a couple of skeins of Heartsease, which is your purple and green. Still have one of the Girly in stock, and I put Thumper on the Donegal tweed because the grey's always going into winter. Grey is always a good staple. And I showed you High Tea, didn't I? No, that was in Sparkle, and there's a High Tea in the Donegal neb, in the dapper. So they're all the dapper and the spirit base. Okay, I'll show you what I've got on the Royalty, the MCN, and the Little Outback, which is the sustainable Aussie Merino. Okay, so I have from the MCN, the Royalty MCN, which is the 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere. I've got Muck, which is nice tonal purple. Another new colourway called Sunshine and Lollipops. It's got 2 tones of yellow with some speckles of some pink and some purple and some green. That one. I have a couple of Clover and a couple of, no, I'll only have one of Friend Zone. and another new colourway called Gentle. Just want a variegated colourway, some soft tones. And Blueberry Jam will be back on the MCN. And Blues for You will be on the MCN as well. And another, I think this one, I don't think I took down the notes of this one. Another one of a kind is called Trusted Chaos. So lots of speckles there. And then we have Forbidden, as in blue and green. No, that's not blue and green. Why did I do Forbidden? Ah, it was yellow with speckles of green and blue. So blue and green should never be seen on yellow. I think that's what I did. That one. Okay, let me just move those over there. And then we have the little Outback, which is your 100% sustainable Australian merino. So we've got a crimson blush, some primrose, I've got another one of a kind, soaking up the leftover dye in the pots. I called this one Smuggler's Run because I couldn't think of anything, and my husband had a Smuggler's Run t-shirt on that was like that faded denim-y blue colour, so that's why this got called Smuggler's Run. I've got Muddy River, and some Buttercup. Got a couple of Mars Shadow. And a Marigold. Warm Peach. And some Chocolate Crackle. Still got a Barbie. Some Bambi. And First Love. And Spicy. So that's all that will be on the little Outback, the 4-ply sustainable merino. So I can get into showing you guys the 8-plies, the DK. Bear with me a minute. Almost finished. Got some of my Lush, which is your 100% superwash merino in the DK 8-ply weight. So I'll have 4 skeins of Vampire Apocalypse. I really like how I've got this one. Superwash really intensifies the red and the purple in there. So I have 4 skeins of that. Got some Speckled with Love. Come back. And I'll have jumper quantities of Grey Nomad in the 8-ply. As well as Interlude. What else do I have? Oh, and Winds of Winter. I have a jumper quantity of it as well. A couple of skeins of Gaudy. Just a couple of skeins of Blue Jeans Work Boots. and new colourway poppy, a couple of those. Have one of pollinator. Have a couple of electric dreams. And a couple of spice chai. A couple of fairy garden. And I've still got one left of making new friends. And a couple of kindergarten treasures. So yeah, so that's what I'll have in the Lush DK base. As for the Outback, which is your 8-ply DK Sustainable Merino, I have a couple of bluebells, a couple of Marshadow, I think I've got 3 of Olive Grove. I've still got one of By the Sea. And I have a couple of Walter, which is your charcoal and your navy. A couple of Banksia. And still have one of Commando. A couple of Chocolate Crackle. And Magic is a new colourway, which is the charcoal black, then with a bright purple over the top. And a couple of Primrose. And still have a prom dress. A couple of Bambi. And First Love. Showed you what to. And Thumper. And that's it in all those in that colourway. I might just leave the fibre as a surprise for you guys to see it on Saturday, as I think this has gone on long enough and I'm probably boring you senseless. But I hope to see everybody on Saturday. Come and say hi. Yeah, let's make this a really great event in Adelaide. So thanks for stopping by and watching. I hope to see you Saturday. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, alrighty. Thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye.